Recording in progress.
Good afternoon. I am Audrey Bell Jenkins, Chief Operating Officer at House of Miracles, and I'm happy to have our board member Gail Brown here, who is a licensed master social worker, and she will be sharing some tips and strategies on mental wellness and journaling. So you can find all the information about House of Miracles at House of Miracles Inc. for further information. And Gail, I will turn it right on over to you. I'm excited to hear about journaling as well.
Thank you, thank you, thank you. So I'm going to jump right on in and talk about journaling and the benefits of journaling and what that is. So journaling is basically a documented account of thoughts, feelings, emotions, experiences, events, things of that nature. And the significance of journaling is to be able to reflect, to go back and maybe look at how those things affected you, impacted you. And this reflection can be used for growth, for processing, healing, things of that nature. So, some of the benefits of journaling, again, a documented account of your experiences, is emotional processing, stress reduction, self discovery. Reducing anxiety and depression, emotional and mental release, right? When we're carrying things and harboring feelings, thoughts, we want to be able to release that. Enhancing emotional regulation, right? There are times when emotionally we're dysregulated, right? And the most common one is anger, right? Or sadness. Um, Being able to release that in a healthy way, promoting resilience, being able to look back and reflect, hey, I've been through this, I've made it through. Let me go back and see, what did I do the last time I felt these emotions, or had these types of thoughts. And then it just, again, offers space to just reflect and promotes growth. And so that is some of the benefits of journaling, writing about your experiences, your thoughts, your emotions, and things of that nature. And some of my favorite, of course, is offering that space to reflect. I do journal myself, and have been doing journaling practice for many years. I started even before I knew what journaling was. I was always a writer. So when I was young, so I not only speak to this from a clinical perspective and from a professional perspective, but also a personal perspective, in that I do actually practice journaling. The other one is enhancing self-awareness, right? When we write about ourselves, our experiences, thoughts, feelings, emotions, we get to learn about ourselves. So it's just a wonderful practice. And then also the fact that journaling can promote healing and recovery. Some of the things that we may have been through, even if it's a good experience, right? It doesn't have to always be trauma, but most frequently, healing does come from a traumatic experience. And so it promotes healing, being, again, able to write about that, get that out, um, and just experience some kind of healing from that, and feeling like I got it from outside, inside of me to the outside. Um, and then again, self-regulating. When those emotions are up and down and all over the place, being able to get still, be quiet, and process that, write that out, and see it in writing. And I do want to also say, journaling is not always writing, right? It could be drawing, it could be coloring, it could be pictures, cutting things out of the magazine, and taking a piece of paper and sticking those pictures that jump out and speak to you on a piece of paper, and doing that on a daily or maybe weekly dedicated um, time frame, and then going back and look at that. What was I thinking or feeling when I stuck these pictures to a piece of paper? So you can be very creative with journaling. And so, again, some of the benefits of journaling. And I do want to just offer you space to jump in and ask
Okay.
questions, Audrey, if you should want to, as I talk a
Yeah,
little bit about
I
journaling.
I just wanted to touch on, you made just a point about the journaling helps to release anger. So that's kind of like when we need to step back and not just focus on our anger. Sometimes we can journal,
Mm-hmm.
to calm us down, process,
Absolutely.
and even the happy times to remember. To bring a euphoric feeling to you. So that
Mm-hmm.
was a good point about just releasing it and journaling, letting it go, and then the processing of it, kind of
Absolutely.
looking at it and maybe coming back and it's like,
Mm-hmm.
oh,
Mm-hmm.
this was my emotion this day or whatever was going
Right.
on. So yeah,
And
good point.
yeah, and it is important to note that sometimes even happy feelings can get us in trouble, right? When we
Hmm.
are overjoyed and we rush out, right? Overspending, over shopping, over indulging in whatever it is that makes us
Hmm.
feel good. So be
Hmm.
mindful of that. So sometimes when we are experiencing really joyful feelings, you might want to get still, sit down, and write about that euphoria rather
Right.
than bolting out the door and getting yourself into something that may not be as healthy, right?
Hmm.
So some ways to journal, I just kind of mentioned, drawing, coloring, sketching, using magazines, flipping through, cutting out things, jotting down quotes, right? You can do quotes that speak to you. And again, just writing out things that kind of unfold in your daily life. And journaling can be done daily, weekly. I wouldn't suggest monthly. So much time will pass in a month's time that it's not likely you'll remember everything that you've experienced over the course of a month. So maybe daily or weekly is the best practice, and especially when you are a beginner. Once you are very experienced at journaling, if you choose monthly, then that might be beneficial to you. But the important thing is to get started. You'll see me look down from time to time. I'm just looking at my notes, trying to make sure I kind of cover everything that I wanted to kind of put out there. um, Journaling is also a perfect outlet to get in touch with yourself. We as humans tend to be very automatic, right? We do things in an automatic way. We don't really stop to think. We're not really in tuned with, what am I feeling? What am I thinking? We're automatic, right? We become creatures of habit and we react and respond in ways we just automatically do. And so journaling will help you reflect and kind of connect with yourself. Oh my goodness, for the last week, I've been doing such and such and such, right? You may not have even realized that you've been doing something in a manner in which you've been doing it. And you know what? There is actually a better way that I could be doing this or that I could be responding. And journaling will point that out. And bring those types of things to your attention, getting really connected with yourself and getting to know yourself better. Um, you may be asking or wondering, okay, how do I get started with journaling, right? Especially if you are new to the practice. You sit there, okay, I want to journal, and then, you draw this blank. What do I write down? How do I even get started? Where do I go? There's so much in my mind. First thing you want to do is just kind of get your materials. What do you want to use? Do you want to use paper? Do you want to use an electronic device? You can use your cell phone. Many smart devices, which I call dumb devices, will have a notes feature. Maybe you want to just kind of talk about your day and voice record. I don't know, whatever your choice is, kind of make one, right? Determine, I am going to use paper and pencil. I'm going to be old school. I'm very old school. I like to write things out. um, free yourself of judgments. There is no wrong way to journal, right? Whatever feels natural and comfortable for you, that's what you want to do. That's what you want, because you want this to be a practice that you stick with, whether you choose daily, weekly, bi-weekly, something like that. Stick with that. So choose whatever is comfortable for you, be non-judgmental, and allow your thoughts to just flow. You want to sit down, take a couple of deep breaths, and just, you can just, I call it brain dumping. Whatever, it's like when you take your purse or your backpack or whatever bag you may carry and you just dump it, all that stuff that falls out, it just falls out. You can do that with journaling. Whatever comes to mind, just jot that down. Just start somewhere. And a ball in motion tends to stay in motion. Once you begin to just kind of jot things down, it will come. It will come naturally, and just allow it, right? Again, there is no wrong way to journal. You want to be your true self and be that unapologetically, right? I'm going to just write down whatever comes to my mind. It doesn't have to be neat. It doesn't have to be structured. It doesn't, you can scribble all over the paper. You are just getting started if you're a beginner. But and you'll see that kind of frees you and gives you this outlet, this just emotional upheaval that, wow, I did get something on the paper. I've kind of mentioned you can do it written, you can do it digital, you can do pictures, you can do cutouts of magazines, whatever kind of floats your boat, right? No, again, no wrong way. You do want to kind of set your intention, right? When you are going to journal, do I want to vent, right? Did something upset me today? And I just want to write down, my emotions, and I just want to, have at it and scream. Do I want to record an event that happened and think about my feelings or that I felt during that event? Maybe you want to record an event. Maybe you want to just connect with yourself. All you're writing down is feelings that's flowing for you or coming up for you. Or maybe you want to jot down the, positives or gratitude or things that went well in your day, right? Kind of when you do sit down, know what your intention is and what's coming up for you. That may also make it easier. Let's see what else is coming up for me. If you're really, really struggling with what to get down on the paper, right at the top of your paper, start with the date, the time, the mood that you're in. What is the weather outside? Just like the basic things. You just want to get going. And again, a ball in motion tends to stay in motion. And for those who, after you've gotten that, today's date, where maybe even where you are, write down your location, the feeling. Am I happy? Am I sad? Am I excited? And your mood. Maybe you start with a general question, and that can be any question under the sun. What is 2 things people don't know about me? I don't know, right? That just popped in my mind. You give yourself a question and then you begin to journal under that question. Those are some things that just get you started. Or maybe you might write your goals down, or maybe you might write down your thoughts that you had for the day, or again, some gratitude. But the goal is to just start. And it can be feel very challenging in the beginning, but the moment you write the first word on the paper, it will tend to just flow. It's amazing how journaling kind of just unfolds itself. And again, it's very beneficial, very healing, helps you to process, connect with yourself, self-regulate. And it has been shown by studies and research to even have a physical impact on your health, right? Those suffering with high blood pressure, could be related to, feeling angry all the time, right? Write about that anger, get it out in a healthy way. So journaling, there you have it in a nutshell. It's a lot of resources out there on YouTube. There's a lot of resources on Google. Dr. Google's got everything. But do get started. I encourage all of you who are out there listening or who may be viewing this to get started. It's a great practice, especially for your mental health.
Thank you. Thank
Question.
you. That was great. That was great. I'll just say that my takeaway words were reflect, process, healing,
Mm-hmm.
releasing, self-regulating, and free of judgment. And then the
Mm-hmm.
main thing is just to get started.
Yeah,
Just to get
and
started.
and I do want to zoom in or hone in on growth.
Mm,
Many times we feel stagnant and like our days are mundane. Day after day after day
mm,
after day is the same process. But if you were to journal, you will see in looking back in your journal from a week ago that there was some growth, there was some differences, there is some trending in your thought processes or in your behaviors, things of that nature. And so that's another thing. Journaling will help you identify any negative thoughts, negative patterns, things of that nature, and help you kind of gear yourself towards shifting to the positive. All right. So journaling
mhm.
is a really, really wonderful practice for mental health.
That was a great point. That
Yeah.
was a great point. Well, thank you. I appreciate
You are
that. And I
very
will make
welcome.
sure that I get back on my journaling journey. So
No, I
thank
wish
you
I
so
had my
much.
stack of journals to
Oh,
show
wow.
you. I've
Yeah.
got, I'm one to like to go to the store and pick out the really pretty books
Well,
to
me
journal
too.
in. I'm old school. I write everything down. Every now and then I may do pictures or draw something or just kind of freehand sketch. But for the most part, I'm a writer and I do have tons of journals from
Hmm.
back in the day. I sometimes look at them. Yeah.
I know as younger, that was my emotion writing.
Yeah.
If I was upset as a kid, as a kid or
Yeah.
whatever, it was the
Hmm.
writing. So
Yeah.
when you were talking about that, it kind of took me back a little bit to a practice that I was doing just because I was upset or angry or disappointed or whatever
Right.
my feeling was. I was writing it back
Absolutely.
then, didn't realize what I
Hmm.
was doing. So
And remember, many years ago, we used to refer to diaries.
yes,
That was a form of journaling, also, right?
absolutely.
When
Yeah.
a preteen or adolescent kept a diary, that was a form
Hmm.
of journaling.
Hmm.
So good
Hmm.
stuff.
Good
It's been
point. Good
around for
point.
years.
Thank you so much. And
You're
again,
very welcome.
House of Miracles, inc.com. Have a great day,
All
everyone.
right, you as well.